Hi everyone, I'm Brittany.
And I'm Mara.
And we're the Celtic Gypsies. And we are here with Jamie, who we've been quarantined with.
So sad. We're so sad.
Yeah, it's terrible. We are discussing episode 6, Perpetual Adoration of Outlander.
Yes, we just watched it, and we find that we have to watch it and then talk about it, because if a day or two passes, we're like,
I don't remember.
I don't remember. Who's that guy? What was that one thing? That one guy looks...
I know, but Jamie looked good dancing. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he did.
We didn't forget that part. So...
You told me you weren't too keen on the 60s Claire.
Yeah, she's still beautiful, but I don't know. For some reason, she looks so much older in the 60s.
I think that's the whole purpose.
But like her age now, you know, when she's back in time with Jamie, she's still the same age as she was in the future. But
Yeah.
I don't know, some reason.
I think it's shocking because she doesn't have any makeup on. And then when you see her in real life, Katriana, she looks different. But
Yeah.
they really did, I think, a good job. They wore that hideous blue eyeshadow, and her hair was like a
the hair.
helmet.
I think the hair.
I
is
thought it was
what
a
gets
perfect
me.
helmet. It's like, wow.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did a good job.
Mm-hmm.
Still beautiful, but not my favorite look for
Yeah.
her.
She's 60s Claire in a Catholic church, and she talks about a being she can't hear, and she's talking about God, really not knowing about that, still kind of wondering, but she's there, still talking, and I think she probably feels close to Jamie in the church as well.
Yeah.
So since he was,
because I know his faith was pretty important to him.
yeah. So I was surprised that they were going back and forth, but it wasn't too bad. I really didn't care for when they were separated, and she was in that time with Frank. Like, it was just so long. Like, I'm one of the people, and everybody keeps explaining to me why this had to be and blah blah blah. But 20 years, so long.
Yeah, that is a long
It killed me. Like 5 years, 7 years is a long time, right? But they're like, well, Bree had to grow up. I'm like, no, but Fergus was a child back then, and there's other children. But anyways, so I didn't get that feeling of like heaviness of like hurry up and go back, because it would flash back, and it immediately flashed back to Claire and Marcelly finding the paintbrushes, the penicillin.
Yeah.
Marcelly is so cute. I love her.
She is.
I really
And
like
now
her.
I'm really curious. I really want to look through a microscope
And
and
see
see
what
what
it
it looks like.
Oh yeah, maybe, you know what?
She
We
gets
might
some
be growing
paintbrushes.
some moldy bread around here.
This is true.
Although they
We-
said the
We
writers
have to find bread first.
Yeah. They were saying that the writers made them be in those, what are those things called, those glass bells clutches?
I
You
don't
put,
know.
they had them in the glass bells, and they were saying that's not possible. Diana was telling them that's not possible. They have to be open to the air. But then somebody else in the comments said, well, then how does your bread get moldy in like a plastic bag? I don't know. But they're looking for a type of mold, right?
Maybe.
She teaches Marcelly the word eureka.
Yeah, that was cute.
I like that. So I thought that was neat.
Yes.
And they said something about the impetuous pirate. Who were they talking about?
Oh, that was a book.
Oh
And then
yeah, they didn't say
she-
anything. I wrote that down. So she had the
picks
book,
up the book.
and we're like, oh, is that a good read?
Yeah,
Like a
now I'm
romance
gonna be
novel.
looking for that book.
Yeah, I have and the Impetuous Pirate. I was like, where did that come from? Yeah, now we're gonna be looking at it.
Have any of you read it? Let us know
the
if it's
Impetuous
worth
Pirate.
finding and
Because then
reading.
it had like a guy on there with like washboard ads.
Yeah, it looked like a romance novel.
Yeah. So, and she was saying time is described like God, according to Claire, it, like having no end and all that. And then she goes into describing it more fully, and she says if time is like God, then memory is equated to the devil. I was like,
Yeah, which I guess memory can be
it can be
tough for some people. Yeah.
So
Some memories.
so it goes back to Claire with her patient. she just tells Bree that she lost a patient due to an allergic reaction to penicillin. So you're thinking, oh no, she just made penicillin, and this time, you know, is she gonna kill somebody with the penicillin? So
Yeah, at the beginning, when Claire's telling Bree about losing a patient, I said, all right, who's gonna die in this episode?
And we haven't seen it, so we don't know if like Kezzy, and I almost said Kenzie, Kezzy and Josiah, if they both live or whatever. But I was like, oh no, I hope it's not Kezzy. But,
yeah, I was a little worried that it would be him.
Yeah, and so, and then I hear, did you enjoy yourself? And I was like, I made this face like, why would Jamie, oh, it's not Jamie, it's Roger. It's Roger. It cracked me up. I was like, definitely not Jamie. What'd you say?
I said, well, if he's having to ask that question, then that's a problem.
Yeah, but I was like, I thought, because they didn't show his face, it just showed like the bottom and they're panning up. And I was like, that is so corny. I just thought of Jamie right away, and I was like, oh,
yeah,
it's Roger.
I kind of felt sorry for Roger, because really, if he had to ask.
I think, but they were showing that they're connected, and she was like, like kissing, and I was like, I thought it was just funny, because, yeah, definitely not Jamie. And Bree and Roger start talking about starting a school, a university, kind of jokingly. Roger's talking about the Mackenzie University, and Bree's like, hey, we should start a school, like I could teach math. I thought it was a great idea, but they kind of go right through that. I mean, it'd be great to have a school at the Ridge, right? Educated
Makes
people.
me kind of wonder now, to go back, look historically, was there a Mackenzie University?
Oh.
Because I know there's a lot of historic accuracy in the show. So I'm
Did
wondering
any of
if
you
they're,
all know that? Is there one?
throwing that in? We'll
there
have to ask our Scotland friends.
Yeah.
Is there a Mackenzie University?
Well, that would be at the Ridge in North Carolina.
yeah,
right?
that's true.
So, I don't know. That's a good point.
Yeah, now I'm curious. Google.
So then you see Jamie riding in with his long rifle. Like, it was super long, right? And he's trying to recruit men for 50 shillings. And the men are like, is that all our lives are worth? 50 shillings? Like, no. There's no price on that. He's a great
Salesman.
talker. I'd be like, okay. But I guess they were running the businesses in town, and the redcoats were taking advantage of the hospitality there. So
Already turning your face.
she makes fun of me because I have 6 pages of notes. She has 1.5 pages. I don't know. I just write a lot. I'm very thorough.
I'm very smart. Be a good student.
But I write stuff that, you know, just will spark a conversation as well. But my wrist starts hurting in the show. Yes, I was that little girl in class that would raise her hand and go, what did you just say to the teacher? And the rest of the class was probably like,
Teacher's
but you know
pet.
what? I kind of have a thing going, a photographic memory. So if I were to write notes in class like this, I didn't study for tests. I just remembered my notes. So, but that gave me a little bit of a problem when I went to college, because I had never studied before and I was used to making straight A's. So when I got my first B, C, I was like, I had to learn a little bit.
Okay, let's see. Oh, yeah, Jamie was recruiting.
Throwing the knives at Murtaugh's wanted poster.
Yeah, and then
That.
oh my gosh, what is the man's name?
The lieutenant?
Yes,
I don't
I
remember.
always forget his name.
Lieutenant Akins. I have no idea. But he was saying that they are offering full pardons by Governor Tryon for all the regulator leaders. And I thought, is this a trap? Because it just kind of seemed kind of hokey. Jamie's like, everybody? He's like, everybody. So Lieutenant was kind of disappointed because of Murtaugh, right? So then Jamie's seen with the knife, and I was like, oh, he's going to throw it. But he kind of gets on the side. He doesn't get it on him. And I know he's probably a good aim, you know, so I thought, oh, you know. But what does he tell him that he ordered? Do you remember?
Yeah, well, I remember he told him he's expecting a letter to come about Murtaugh's whereabouts.
Okay, that one.
And then he tells him that the pardon doesn't apply to Murtaugh.
Yeah, later, but before that he tells them that he is waiting on some records from a special place in Scotland.
Yes,
Ardsburg.
Mm-hmm.
So he's waiting for that to see who else was in the prison with Fitzgibbons to question them. Jamie's like, oh, great. Super duper.
Cute.
Right. Yep. And then it goes back to the Scottish patient with Claire, and he reminds her of, the way he's talking. It kind of reminded me a little bit of Angus and the gang, and then plus Jamie, she's kind of, he kind of gets her off track.
Well, he was really sparking memory for her.
Yeah, well, he's saying something like he loved his wife for 20 years, and he's like, he has, wouldn't be the first scar, Jamie has scars, so it just took her back.
Yeah.
And then we noted, and then it flashed back to where she's at, and she's getting the penicillin out of a teacup.
That was so cute.
Yeah, that was
I
cute.
liked that.
So she could just put that in the little Fraser's Ridge store, a little teacup.
Yeah.
It's a little syringe.
Yeah.
That syringe was fat. That was a scary syringe. I have to say that. And then I noticed, I have here, Lizzie is horrible. She's spying at Kenzie's bum, I think Kenzie again. He's like, drop your britches or whatever, and she's all, she's like turning. Like, Lizzie, something's gonna happen there. And I haven't read, but I've heard some things.
Lizzie and Kezzy?
Lizzie and Kezzy and Joseph.
I have not heard
And
this.
the brother,
I don't
too.
want to hear this.
Yeah, this is just what I heard. I don't know. Spoiler alert! I don't know if I'm giving a spoiler. But Lizzie...
No, I don't care about the spoiler. It's just kind of gross.
Yeah. And then, oh my word, working on Kezzy's tonsils while he's awake.
Ew,
And he's just sitting there like, cork. I would have been like, gagging during that procedure. And I was wondering where I know it sounds gross. Where's the tonsil? I just saw blood. Did she like take it out? Did he swallow it?
Yeah, that was gross.
Yeah, it was really, really quick. And what did she cauterize it? I saw like smoke in there. How would she have done that? Like she used something in there. Yes, I think she
I'm
did.
gonna have to go back and watch it again.
It was weird, but he was just like, yeah, it's great.
Well, they gave him laudanum.
Laudanum.
To
Is that stuff that good? Do I need to give like my family laudanum? Take your laudanum and be quiet.
I don't know. We'll have to look
I don't know. And then Roger's scene with Jemmy, he's like, freaking out, trying to give him a little trinket. I don't know who would give their baby a necklace, but he was trying to do a little trinket, and the whole jewelry box falls, and he's like, what is this?
The jewel.
There's a little tiny gem, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, sitting in his chair. Brianna comes in.
Having a scotch.
What is this? And I would have been like, a little tiny violin? Dun dun dun! Yeah. So I think is that. Yeah. So he's doing the stone, and it flashes to the card game with Roger and Bonnet talking about women and what women are for. And he says something like, "Women are no more than a tax paid on pleasure," or something like that. He's gross.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. And Roger tells him that his woman is more concerned with words and deeds, not jewels and money. Like she wouldn't do anything for it. Bonnet's convinced that women will do anything for jewels and money and all that kind of stuff, right? But Bonnet cheats anyway and takes Roger's money, and Roger's like, okay, that's cool.
Well, he wasn't really in a position to do anything about it, so.
And then Roger's like, he asks Bree, where'd you get this precious stone? That's Bonnet's, isn't it?
Which I was kind of happy he found it. And Bree, I don't know, kind of opened the door for her to finally.
Yeah, I don't know why they're
Get
keeping
stuff
stuff
off of her
like from each
chest.
other. It's so annoying. Like she knows Bonnet's out there, and Jamie knows, and Fergus. So I don't know why she didn't tell Jamie, like, hey, I know, but she just doesn't say anything. And then she does tell Roger that she did go to Wilmington, and he knew about that. And then he didn't know that she talked to Bonnet. So Roger's all, you kept it? A gift?
That irritated me.
Yeah, and then
called it a gift.
Yeah, a gift. And I was like, these men need to quit jumping to conclusions.
Yeah.
Lordy, that's what I have in my notes.
One thing that really struck me when Bree was trying to explain why she did that, I thought of trauma bonding.
Mm-hmm.
That's something you can Google.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought that happens a lot. Somehow women have this capacity to still feel compassion for horrible people.
Yeah, because
I just
he
thought
does
that
question her, and he's like, you know, Roger's like, why did he give it to you? You know, he wouldn't even like save his own mother or whatever. He said something like that, and she's like, I told him that Jemmy was his, and he's like, Roger's like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I did a blood bond with him, and Roger, I was like, oh, Roger, get a hold of yourself. And I put on there, you know, Bree did share too much with Bonnet. You know, I don't know why she did that either. She just, I don't know. I don't know why she did that either.
She didn't even know why, because like
yeah,
but
realization. Even though she did that, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
it's not her fault, and it doesn't matter what she believes. It doesn't change the outcome, right? So, and I just have next line: Roger's acting dumb.
She actually wrote
yeah, it's right here.
Roger is acting dumb.
She was reading my notes. She goes, Roger's acting dumb. So then he's out hunting, and he almost freaking shoots Claire.
But then he said, I probably would have missed.
Yeah, exactly. So. But they flash back before that, and Claire's in a church talking to a priest about Graham Menzies, and she didn't know him well. She tells the priest, and you know, but I think he just was familiar and felt like home to her. And even Graham was speaking about how deeply in love he was with his wife, and it took Claire back, you know, immediately. And she says he reminded her of someone she once lost, and the priest says, no one is lost, and that seemed to help her, you know.
As long as you remember them.
Yeah. And then my next line is, Roger almost shoots Claire. Oh my gosh. And she's out looking for, what is she?
Golden seal.
Golden seal. So I looked up really fast. She has more what it's for, but it's used for gastritis. And it would be good for the coronavirus, actually.
Yeah.
I'm giggling. It's not funny, but
upper respiratory infections and colds.
So if you have access to golden seal.
Yeah, find some golden seal right now.
Exactly. I have other herbs. We have rosemary and basil and oregano. Oregano's good too for viruses, but I don't have golden seal. Have we grown golden? We haven't grown that in the garden before.
No, I know it grows wild in some places.
I'm gonna look into it now. I do a lot of herbs. I'll take it and make them into tinctures. You just take the herb that you like, say like lavender, and you would steep it in vodka for several weeks to several months. So I have different glass jars. I have different bags with herbs in it. One time my mom came over, and my mom's got like a nice German accent, and she opens my spice cabinet and she pulls all these baggies down. She's like, what is this? She just starts cracking up. It was the funniest thing. I was like, that's rosemary, and that was dill. But it looked really funny.
Innocent herbs.
Yeah, it was funny. I thought it was funny. And so then Claire, they flash back. Claire is talking to Roger about the difficulties of marriage. And he's like, well, you and Jamie are so great. She's like, aha, but Jamie is not my first husband.
Yeah.
You know, he's like, oh, yeah, that's true. And she was talking about, he's like, do you regret, you know, basically the marriage with Frank? She says, no, because they raised Bree together. And the important thing was that Bree felt loved and safe, and she, you know, she had two parents that loved her. And so she's, I think, referring to Jemmy, and he realizes that, you know, Jemmy is his no matter what. So he gets his, thank gosh, he gets his faculties back because he was acting kind of dumb. And he immediately goes back to Bree with a cute little log of, he says, chanterelles.
I liked that Claire told Roger not to be careless with the time.
Yes, that was really sweet. He apologized to Bree very sweetly, and she's like, well, I did this because, he's like, it doesn't matter. And it doesn't matter. She didn't need to explain. Bree tells Roger that Bonnet is still alive, and he may have spoken to Jemmy in town. I guess I didn't realize that Roger didn't know. Like, I was like, oh yeah, he doesn't know. Only Fergus and Jamie know. And like, the two people that should know, Roger and Bree, you know, should know that. They didn't know. But I guess Jamie thought he could take care of it quietly and just keep, you know, not expose Bree to further trauma, which she is. She's like, she had to draw those pictures. She's having like night terrors, day terrors. You know, Jemmy was in a fit, you know.
Yeah.
So she says, you know, now that we have that little stone, maybe we can take Jemmy back to the future, which she wanted to stay before, and Roger's like, you know, just thinking about it and just kind of shocked.
Well, I think she still wants to stay, but she just wants to have that security for Jemmy.
If he's lurking around
yeah.
in a town that they're in,
yeah.
I'd need that guy gone, or I'd be like, we need to leave, yeah. So the pardons still seem kind of fishy. They're making Jamie deliver him. I was like, is something up? Are they going to ensnare those men? But it didn't end up happening, but it was kind of fishy the way the lieutenant kept talking about it. I was like, oh no, you're a Scotsman, you deliver him. I was like, please don't have him like be a traitor to his, the other Scotsman, you know. So they go back to Claire's patient, Graham, and he tells her he never misses Perpetual Adoration, which I thought was super sweet because of his wife. So he wanted to get a surgery and go to his Perpetual Adoration. And that's just, for people that don't know, adoration is where you go and you sit with the Lord in a little sanctuary. It's just the bread that you get that's blessed, that's the actual body of Christ. So he goes in there and he sits with them because of his wife Olivia, and she's like, you should go back to Scotland and visit, you know, since you miss it. And he's like, no, I can't go because my wife is buried here. And I was like, oh, that's so sweet.
So when he was talking about how much he wishes to go back to Scotland, it made me think of the song Loch Lomond. So I'll probably post a link to that song in the comments because it's a good song, and I have a version of it that tells the history, kind of the meaning of the song at the beginning.
Oh yeah, we'll post it. Yeah, idea.
Yeah,
I like that.
It made me think of him. So now every time I hear that song, I'm gonna think of
Graham Menzies.
Graham. Yes.
And you're gonna go, what's that guy's name? And I'm gonna go, I don't know.
Yes,
but he was great.
He had to take the low road back to Scotland.
Yes. Hey, how about a game of chess? Jamie reminded me of back of Lord John days.
Yeah,
to play chess.
Yeah.
You know, and he's so fun, but it leaves it right there, and then it's back to Claire with Joe, and I was like, I love Joe. I was missing him, somebody from the past. I thought maybe Frank would show up in the past, but it was Joe, which I love Joe, so I was happy. Yeah. And he says, you know, she's really upset with herself. She thinks she got close to a patient, and he passed away. And he's like, the problem is not in the brain. The problem is in the heart. You're thinking about something else. You know, you're associating with that. And then it goes back to the lieutenant, and the lieutenant is just like goo goo gaga over Jamie. He just loves Jamie. That's what I have in my notes. He just keeps rubbing Murtaugh in his face. He's like, if we go somewhere, I want you to be my right-hand guy. I just loves you so much.
You're creeping me out.
Yeah, that's what he was doing. Yeah. And Jamie's like, oh, it's great that we can think alike.
Awkward.
Yeah, and then perfect timing. The Ardsmere transcript is delivered. Right?
Yeah.
And I was like, how's he going to get out of that? And Jamie's like, you'll find my name on there. Like,
yeah, I like how he just like
oh,
well, you know.
And the lieutenant's like, there's plenty of James Frasers around.
Yeah.
What did he tell him?
Yeah, but
not one from Lallybrook.
Yeah, yeah.
Brocktorak.
Brocktor.
It kind of sounds like from Star Trek, one of the guys that has a funny forehead. He talks like that.
I wasn't a Trekkie, so
my mother was. So I watched all of them.
Yeah. So I like how he just matter of factly.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like, oh no, there's our dude. He's like,
on
no, that's me,
yeah.
dude. Murtaugh is my godfather.
Yeah.
Oh, I just laid it all out. Don't let him do the little line connect. Nope, no dots. And then I put on there, kill him, Jamie. Don't let him kill him. I was like,
what I was saying.
Kill somebody.
That's what I was saying out loud. I'm like, get him, yeah. kill him.
Yeah, Lieutenant's freaking out. He's trying to get God on his side, and Jamie's like trying to talk to him, to appeal to him, because he's like, you're a good man. He's trying to talk to him. Maybe he'll keep it quiet, right? And he pulled a knife on Jamie. Not a good idea. Jamie's like, Jamie's like, you know what? I made an oath to my family first, and that's more than the crown right there, right? So bad move, Lieutenant. Nighty night.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy to me because he asks him, you know, what would you do in my position, and the man says, basically,
loyal to the crown.
Put the crown before his family. I'm like, well, and it's funny how they both in their own minds, you know, they're like, which one of us is the righteous?
Yeah. I don't think he did put himself in Jamie's shoes, though. No. He was just concerned about doing his job and getting that piece of land, I think.
He's the kind of person that really irritates me. Like, big rule follower. I don't like.
And poor Jamie, he felt bad. He's like, I could not afford you a soldier's death, and he's feeling bad. And it took me back to Uncle Dougal.
Yeah.
Where they had to do away with him. Same kind of thing.
You know what I love about Jamie? He does what has to be done, but he still holds respect and honor for the people that he has to kill.
Yeah. I honor you.
Yeah. That's good. Good.
Yeah, so then we're like, oh no. I was like, did he break his neck? She's like, no, he suffocated. I was like, oh good. Now he can stage his death. He puts him in the bed. He burns documents. We're like, burn all the documents. Make sure they're burned.
Yeah, that's what we were saying. Stand there until they burn.
Nothing happened. Nobody sees him coming out the window. You
can't leave any evidence.
So he did good there. And then he meets a lovely little chap named Adso.
Yes.
He is so cute.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, he's so cute. And Fergus is in the shadows, and they kind of take off. And I was like, oh no, did he take the kitty with him? And we flashed back to Claire in the garden working. I'm like, man, she's super woman. Taking out tonsils, making penicillin, gardening, collecting golden seal, counseling Roger, being a grandmama, being a wife. I was like, man, there must be two of her.
Strong woman.
Yeah. And Jamie does have Adso in his pocket, and I was like, yay, he's got a pocket kitty. Yeah. And then made me flash back from when I was a little girl. My dad brought me a little kitty named Serena, and it was in his little coat pocket like this on a rainy day. So I was like, oh.
When I was a little girl, I took a stray cat in the house at night and hid it in my bed because I wasn't allowed, because I was always bringing stray animals home. So I wasn't supposed to bring any more home. So
this one was alive?
Yes, it was alive. Yes, I collected dead mice.
That's not weird.
So cute.
To collect dead mice.
I named them, and they were.
How did you get dead mice? Like, where they come from?
I'd find them. Like,
in your house?
I don't know how I lived. I don't know how I didn't catch some horrible disease.
You probably survived some plague, and you're immune now.
Yeah, I'm immune. Yeah.
It's so funny.
Yes, but anyway, I hid a cat in my bed one night. Slept with me all night, and then I put her out in the morning. Oh, that's my cat. Nobody brought me a cat.
Well, then we flash back to Claire in the future, talking to Bree about London, which I thought that was big of Claire because Frank had told her, I'm basically taking Bree away from you. Yeah. And that's when Claire got really upset. But then she was trying to honor him by taking that trip with Bree, but also getting away from it all because her patient died, you know.
Which I liked that, you know, she tells Jamie this at the end, but how she kind of realized how Graham impacted her life and his passing.
Oh, yeah.
Led her back to Jamie, essentially.
Yes. She thanks Jamie for her gift, Adso, and then, she tells him that, you know, she planned that trip to London because of Graham passing away, and then she learned about Reverend Wakefield's death. So it was all sequence, or was it God planned it that way?
I liked how she saw that God's hand was in all things.
Yeah, even though she's not very religious.
Jamie, But I just realized that song Loch Lomond is perfect for this episode because Graham took the low road back to Scotland and Claire took the high road.
Yep. She talks about God and standing before him, and she'll have a ton of questions for him, but not about time. Which I don't know if the future books or shows will address the time travel thing. That's really like an inconsequential thing of the whole show, which is kind of weird, right? Because there's time travel. Yeah. So I wonder if that'll be addressed at all. And if Jemmy can travel, then that means he's Roger's. But don't you just need one parent that can time travel?
Yeah, I think so.
So if he can time travel, they're going to go, oh, it's Roger's? But maybe they'll do a baby test in the future.
A baby test?
Let me have your DNA roll, Jeff.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the episode. I know there's always controversy over the episodes and book lovers and non-book lovers and whatever. I'm enjoying everything about the season. So
yeah, me too.
Same for you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
not as much as some of the past seasons, but
yeah,
I
the first
still
season you
enjoy it.
can't beat, but then we saw the preview for the next one, and she's like, if you take that ring, you might as well take this ring. I think it was Frank's ring, and then the other ring. And I was like,
what's going on?
And Jamie's like, huh? So I don't know what happens there, but I'm eager to see it. Yeah. But we thank you so much for being here, and we ask you to please
like,
subscribe, and share. We're trying to build a community, and I know there's other people out there discussing Outlander and whatnot, but we have other videos too that are not about Outlander, and we hope to maybe do something on Poldark and some other things. So maybe go back to season 1 of Outlander as well. But yeah, we'd like you here with us. Bye. Thanks.
we are discussing episode 6, Perpetual.
You're doing so well. I don't know where this voice came from. You are doing so well, my dear.
I'm gonna pee in my pants. Why did I start talking like that?
Hello, fans of Celtic Gypsies. We welcome you here during this solemn time of the apocalypse.
Welcome. I keep looking at you awkwardly.
She's in love. She's in love.
I'm on first stage.
Hang on. Okay, do it again.
Hello. No, that's.
Hey there, girlfriend.
Howdy.
Hi guys.
Hi, I'm Britany.
Do it again, because I was going like that.
You have more notes than I do, so. I don't stop laughing at me. So when we do these, when we watch the episodes, we take notes, and Mara here writes a book,
I do not. There's just like 6 little pages.
6 pages of notes, and I have 1.5 pages.
That's great. It's more than usual.
And it's making it
Ask
harder
me a
for
question. Ask me a question.
Would you go out with me? about to find out. Mara, will you go to the prom with me?
Sure.
That's the dog.
She said, I hear your husband snoring, and I said, that's my dog's over there. My husband's like upstairs around the corner.
I just heard snoring.
I hear your husband snoring. Is that like, I see dead people? Would you like to continue?
Please take over,
This
and I will
is
try to talk more.
The train wreck! Woo! Choo-choo! Come on, pull it! Choo-choo! Choo-choo! Chug it, 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 chug it. Choo-choo!
I've got more coffee.
You